Hello, this is Jolanta from the YouTube channel English with an Erudite. Today we are going to talk about dogs. So I hope you're going to enjoy the topic of today's lesson. For a start, I've got 3 difficult words for you about dogs. Dogs are domesticated carnivorous mammals. What does it mean that they are domesticated carnivorous mammals? They are domesticated because they are animals which are used to living with humans. They are carnivorous, which means that they eat meat. They are mammals, so they are like cats or cows or horses or monkeys or you and me. So dogs are domesticated carnivorous mammals. What a typical dog looks like, you all know, of course. It's the head of the dog, ears, these are velvety, flappy ears, 4 legs. Legs of a dog are usually called paws, 4 paws, front paws and hind paws, and a tail. A tail sometimes is long, sometimes it's short, but it's always there. This particular dog is an old toy. Funnily enough, it was made in Japan. I think actually it is a puppy. A puppy is a young dog. An adult female dog is called a bitch. But please be careful with that word, because that word is also sometimes used in a rather offensive way. So an adult female dog is called a bitch. An adult male dog sometimes wants to be an alpha dog. An alpha dog is the most important dog in a pack, because in the wild, dogs or animals such as wolves or jackals live in packs, and the most important dog in the pack is the alpha dog or alpha wolf.
Most of you probably recognize this dog. It is a Pembroke Welsh Corgi. It is a famous dog because of the British Queen, of course. It is an adult male dog. It used to be a working dog. It was bred to herd cattle and sheep and horses. Corgis are easy to train. They are very, very intelligent and adaptable. Benja is going for a walk, so he has got a collar around his head. I don't know whether you can see the collar, and he is on a leash. So the leash is the line attached to the collar.
Dogs, domesticated dogs, are divided into 2 main categories. Pedigree dogs or purebred dogs are the dogs that we know the ancestry of. So we know about their parents and grandparents and great-great-great-grandparents. So pedigree dogs usually have birth certificates. But of course there are countless dogs which are simply mongrels. And what is a mongrel? Mongrel is a dog of mixed breed. It is a mongrel. We have no idea about its grandparents, great-grandparents, and the like. Dogs can be simply pets. So they are pets, they are family pets, so they are our companions. We keep them for pleasure. But originally dogs all dogs, I believe, were working dogs. So they were used for work. They used to work for humans, and still a lot of dogs work for us. A typical example of a pet dog, is a companion dog or a lap dog. A lap dog is a small dog which you can put on your lap, on your knees, or you can even carry it. Some ladies even carry their lap dogs in their handbags because they are so small. And what about working dogs? For example, hunting dogs. We know that dogs were usually used for hunting, and they are still used for hunting with humans. There are sniffer dogs. Sniffer dogs are trained to look for explosives or drugs. There are guard dogs, which we use for guarding our property. So they are trained to guard the property. There are guide dogs. Guide dogs are used by blind people who cannot see, to guide them around. So they are guide dogs. And people who cannot hear sometimes are lucky enough to have a hearing dog. A hearing dog is a dog which is trained to react to different sounds, and a hearing dog signals to the deaf owner that there is a sound. For example, a sound of the doorbell.
Right. So we are looking at a Havanese dog, which is native to Cuba. As you can see, it's a typical pet dog or lap dog. It's a cheerful little dog, a very, very sociable companion with a gorgeous silky coat. And some people claim that it is a perfect city dog, an ideal city dog. It is smart and trainable extrovert. It loves learning tricks, so it's a natural trick dog. It's good with children and other dogs. It is really lovely.
Dogs make all kinds of sounds. Of course, all of you know the typical sound of a dog, which is barking. So typically dogs bark. Some of them bark a lot, some of them bark very little, are very, very quiet. So they bark. Sometimes dogs growl, especially when they are angry. Growling is this deep sound from the throat. And if you encounter a dog which is growling at you, my recommendation is to step back, because it might be dangerous for you. Sometimes dogs howl. Wolves howl too, or coyotes howl. It's a long, continuous sound which dogs make when they are in pain or they are angry, but also when they want to communicate with other dogs, especially dogs which live in packs, like hounds. They live in a pack and they howl together. So it's a form of communication. Smaller dogs usually do this. It is not barking, it's yapping. So smaller dogs produce a rather high, irritating sound, which is called yapping. So they yap. And what about the behavior of dogs? Some dogs attack. Some dogs attack humans or other dogs or other animals. So they attack. Sometimes they bite. So when they use their teeth, they bite. When they are happy to see you, sometimes they lick you on the face, for example, or they lick your hands. They use their tongue. It is the tongue of the dog, and they lick you. When they are happy to see you, they also wag their tail, so they move their tail. But you must remember that wagging is not always a positive sign. Sometimes it means that the dog is rather angry or even it's going to attack. So we need to understand what type of wagging means what. Unfortunately, many dogs which live in the city, they foul the street. They foul the street. What does it mean, foul? It means that they defecate, so they leave their poo, their excrement, on the street. And somebody has to pick it up. Most dogs are very, very friendly. They love people. They are also faithful and loyal to their owners. And they are very often protective of their owners. Very often they are well behaved, especially if they are well trained. So they are friendly and loyal and faithful and well behaved and well trained. Some dogs are by nature very dangerous or fierce. So we could warn somebody, please keep away from the dog because it is a very dangerous or fierce dog. Some dogs are trained to be fierce. Some dogs are just not trained enough, or nobody has ever trained them and they behave badly, or they are untrained. What we do with dogs is this. So we breed dogs. We breed dogs. It means that we intentionally produce puppies. Our dog produces puppies. So we breed dogs. Breed dogs. Of course, we all have to feed our dogs. So we give food to our dogs. We feed our dogs. We also walk our dog. So we take the dog for a walk, sometimes 2 or 3 times per day, because they need to be walked. So we walk the dog. If we decide that we don't want to have any puppies, we neuter our dog. We neuter or sterilize our dog. And we must remember that it is necessary to worm the dog. To worm the dog, so we give some pills or some injections to the dog, or the vet does it, so that our dog doesn't have any nasty creatures inside, any worms. We also vaccinate our dogs. People who have a dog, they are called dog owners. So a dog owner is a person who has a dog. But there are many people who are dog lovers, so they love dogs, but they don't have a dog. They are just dog lovers. The person who trains dogs is a dog trainer. So maybe you have taken your dog to dog classes or to obedience classes with a dog trainer. There are also dog behaviorists, and they study the behavior of a particular dog and they advise us how to train our dog and how to behave with the dog. There are also people who are dog breeders. So I've talked about breeding dogs, and a dog breeder is a person who breeds their dog because he or she wants to have more puppies, especially if the bitch that he or she has is a beautiful dog and the puppies are going to be sold on to new owners. Unfortunately, there are also people who are called puppy farmers, and puppy farmers are people who breed their dogs a lot because they want to make a lot of money very quickly. So they are called puppy farmers. There are many idioms which contain the word dog. Unfortunately, most of them sound rather negative. I will give you just 3 examples. If you have a problem that it has been causing you trouble for a long time, you say, this problem has been dogging me for months. This problem has been dogging me for months. If you visit a cafe or a restaurant or a hotel that you used to like in the past, but now you think that the service is not good enough anymore, or coffee tastes strange, and so on, you say, this place has gone to the dogs. This place has gone to the dogs. If you make a mess of something, so for example, you fail an exam, or you think that you made a lot of mistakes during a job interview, you say, I made a dog's dinner, or I made a dog's breakfast of my job interview. I made a dog's dinner, I made a dog's breakfast of my final exam. I hope that today you're not going to make a dog's dinner or breakfast of anything. So if you have a dog, please take your dog for a lovely, lovely walk and enjoy the company of your loyal, friendly dog. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.